Hey dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast, where we talk about building your dream life and business from the inside out through leadership, fulfillment, and growth. I'm Shayla Wey. I'm a small business coach, growth strategist, and believer that when you lead with purpose, everything changes. So if you've ever had a season where your fire went out, or the vision got a little blurry, maybe the energy dipped, or the passion just started to feel more like pressure, this episode is for you. So today I'm going to dive into really how to reignite your fire personally and professionally, because losing your spark doesn't mean you're broken. It just means it's time to reconnect to your leadership, fulfillment, and growth. And so I want to share what I've learned and really how you can find your way back. So I want to start with something I think we all need to hear is that burnout doesn't mean failure. It really just means you're human. So acknowledging the burnout without shame is so key. It's often the result of prolonged high output without aligned input. And so what I've found is that shame will block that healing process. So when I was in that space and I finally allowed myself to say, I'm tired and that's okay, I stopped fighting myself and started listening to what I actually needed. Naming it gives you back your power. You can't heal from something that you're hiding or that you're ignoring. So really acknowledging that you do feel that way without any of that shame. Reconnecting with your original why is something I use in a lot of my coaching calls with clients, especially with a lot of leaders I work with, because your why is the internal flame that fuels your external results. Over time, with deadlines, to-do lists, and pressure to perform, it is easy to forget the deeper reason that you started. So whenever I'm in those spaces of not feeling clear on my goals or not feeling in full alignment, or more importantly, when I'm helping leaders, I'm helping CEOs, I'm helping business owners really reignite, is I always go back to the impact that I wanted to make. And I'll ask clients that the same question as well is, why did you start this journey in the first place? Because oftentimes the way that we start we can either grow from that original why, or sometimes we just have to reconnect with why we started in the first place, right? So the people that I dreamed of helping, right? The vision the freedom that I envisioned, right? Those were some of the things that got me excited when I was, pivoting in different parts of my business. But reconnecting with that original story, okay, where it really started from, can really make your current work feel meaningful again. So remind yourself that this is bigger than you, right? Reconnecting with your why. Also, just stop doing what no longer aligns. Growth often requires subtraction, not addition. And whenever I've been in a place where I feel unfulfilled, it's usually because I'm over committed to things that don't reflect who I am anymore. So going through your calendar and looking at commitments and ask, is this still really aligned with my values and my vision? Letting go creates space, not just in your schedule, but in your energy field. So for that fire to really re-enter. And so when you think about your business, and again, this is the power of investing in a coach and having somebody to allow you to create the pause, come up for air, take a look at all of the things that you're navigating. Are these things still in alignment? Are they filling my bucket? Are they taking things away? What can we delegate? What can we delete? And really taking that time to look at the overall picture. Sometimes too, just shaking up your environment. Sometimes a stale environment breeds stale energy. So sometimes reigniting your fire does mean stepping into new spaces, literally and figuratively. For me, inspiration can often hit sometimes in just change of environment. Maybe it's sitting outside for the afternoon. Maybe it's going to a coffee shop. Maybe it's a co-working space. If you love traveling, maybe it's just relocating to a new city for a weekend to do some work on the business. Maybe it's a mastermind retreat. It looks different for all of us. Sometimes it's something as simple as just moving your desk or changing who you're spending time with, in the office, outside of the office, rearranging the how the flow of the day works. And it's just can change that perspective. So just don't underestimate the power of your environment in influencing your mindset. And momentum is magnetic. Giving yourself a win. One small win can change everything. When I have felt stuck and when I still feel stuck, when I see clients that are stuck, is sometimes it's not necessarily having to aim for a full transformation. but aiming for just motion. So what's one task maybe you've been avoiding that you can totally just check off the list today? You can just complete right now. Maybe it's sending a message. Maybe it's making a call. Maybe it's just organizing something in your workspace. Finishing something, even if it is super small, can also reignite belief and energy. It makes us feel good. Investing in inspiration. So if you wait for inspiration to strike, you'll probably be waiting for a long time. What I've realized is that inspiration is something you actively have to create. So that might look like joining a mastermind, maybe it's attending a workshop, listening into an audiobook, hiring a coach. I never regret investing in my own growth because it always leads to new ideas, new energy, and new levels. And I've known for a lot of years that when a leader is growing, so will their business. So it's a huge thing that I'm always asking people is how are you growing? Sometimes business owners and leaders can get frustrated when they're not seeing growth in business. And it's often a reflection of our own growth. So staying stagnant is not going to allow us to grow our business. And so investing in that inspiration is key to grow your business and to stay, excited about everything. Letting go of the old identity also can be a great area to let go of the old truths, right? Sometimes some of the most confronting truths that I've had to face is that sometimes the version of me that created success is not the version that will carry me forward. So if you're holding on to maybe who you were, what you used to do for work, or what used to maybe even just feel safe for you, you're maybe growing your business, is that might actually be blocking the fire of what's next. So the spark you're looking for might not come from reclaiming the past, but from stepping into your next evolution. And just taking one aligned action. So action is going to create that clarity. You don't have to know the entire plan. You just need to know what step you want to take next and the next step that's in alignment of where you want to go. Sometimes, especially when I'm chatting with people, we feel like we need to make decisions for the rest of our life. And it's just powerful to take a step back and say, hey, what is in my control right now? What does the next 3 months look like, right? What are actions that can move me forward? And so what I found in my coaching work is that the people who move fastest are not the ones who know the most, but the ones who do the most with what they know. Fire follows action. So pick something, move. The energy comes from doing. Redefining what success looks like can often be a very powerful way to reignite that fire that maybe we're lacking. Sometimes when we lose our fire because we're chasing a version of success that isn't even ours. So when I was measuring success by other people's standards, income, status, speed, that's when I have felt empty. I feel like I've been really clear on this for a very long time, but it's something that is a good reminder when we're starting to feel like we don't have that fire. So when we shift our lens to impact, alignment, peace, everything can change. So just redefining, and just even if you do need to get the clarity on that, is what does success mean to you? What actually makes you feel successful? Tony Robbins talks about how the ultimate failure is success without fulfillment. So when we get clear on our definition of success, that's how the fire stays lit, and how somebody views success, in one industry or personally, professionally, could be very different than how you view it. And that's okay, because this is your life, your journey, your business to lead. And it's important that you fill your cup in a way that makes you feel successful. And know that sometimes it's just very normal. Is one of the terms I've been using a lot recently is the idea of balancing. Sometimes we're fed this idea that we need to have a work-life balance. And as beautiful as that concept is it's not real. And I don't mean to say that we don't want to have, our health and our family and different values, in our life. What I'm saying is that usually we're pulled in one direction at different parts of our life more than others. So there might be a season of your life where you're pulled more towards family with just it being a busy season, and you're balancing that. Then there might be another season where you're pulled more towards work, and there's bigger deadlines or projects that you're working on, and so you're constantly in this balancing mode. But what happens is when we know that it's normal to not always be fully in alignment, is as we are balancing, we are also growing. because when we get out of balance in one area, it allows us to grow in the other. And so that's normal, right? It's really normal to know that if you're not feeling that like this fire is super lit right now, is that you're not broken. It's normal to go through seasons where things do feel dim, because the goal isn't to be on fire every single day, right? It's to stay in the game long enough for the spark to return. And so your energy, your creativity, your drive, they're not gone, they're just resting. So honor the season that you're in, trust the cycle, and be kind to yourself while you reset, while you rebuild, while you redefined this next chapter, this next phase of your life right now. So thanks so much for spending part of your day with me here on your Dream Coach podcast. I genuinely am super grateful you're on this journey, choosing growth, choosing purpose, and choosing to lead in a way that really matters. If today's episode gave you a new insight or a spark of inspiration, I'd love to hear about it. You can tag me on Instagram at Shayla Wey Coaching, or share this with somebody who needs a little nudge forward. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit subscribe, leave a review, and come back for more conversations to help you build a business and a life that actually feels good. Because your dream life starts with the way you lead and the way you live. And of course, the way that you grow. So until next time, keep growing, keep going, and thanks for being here.